Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Two Eyes. How y'all doing? Since this year has been the shittiest of years that I have experienced, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced, apparently there's a contender for another year that was even worse than this. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know how bad it could really be. But we're about to find out today, because apparently in the year 536 AD, to be specific, not BC, no black cobras here. Apparently in this year, a lot of fuck shit happened, and I am curious, and I don't know if you want to go down this road with me, but if you do, come right along. If you don't, get the fuck out. But yeah, let's see what year was potentially fucking worse than 2020, which I fail to fucking believe. But hey, here we are. And if y'all ready, like I'm ready, then hold up. Let us go.
The term worst year ever gets tossed around a lot these days, mostly on the internet, and for reasons I was disappointed in the latest Star Wars movie. But scientists and historians have actually argued that no year in the long history of this planet was worse than the year 536.
Okay.
While sure, there have been plenty of worthy contenders for the worst year ever over the course of history, no single year has had more of a measurably bad impact for the decades that followed.
Okay, I just want to say, year 536 has some stiff competition, okay? First with all these people that were very beloved, all of them passing away. On top of that, like starting there, the Arctic Ocean got fucking chlamydia. Let's talk about that. Let's not talk about that in depth. I just wanted to bring that up. And then, you know, COVID fucking 19 on top of the social injustice and the riots and more and more of that shit becoming more and more prevalent. The president didn't necessarily help. Yeah, so you got some stiff competition. Even though what I said is merely a bulletin list, not even getting into all of this shit that happened in 2020. But let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. It's the worst year to be alive.
Today we're going to explain why the year 536 was the worst year to be alive. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know what piece of history you would like us to explain next. Okay, now let's settle this once and for all. Year 536.
What you got?
Worst year ever.
Let's see.
While serving as a military advisor to Belisarius, one of the Byzantine Empire's most distinguished generals, Byzantine historian Procopius noticed some trouble was brewing in the air while traveling with his boss in Sicily in the year 536. He wrote of a sun that gave forth light without brightness, during like the moon, during this whole year, and it seemed exceedingly like the sun in eclipse. For the beams it shed were not clear, nor such as it is accustomed to shed. Translated, it was all dark outside, like, all the time. He, of course, wasn't the only one to notice the sun appeared to be in a mood during 536. Michael the Syrian, a Byzantine scribe, would later write of this period, "The sun became dark, and its darkness lasted for 18 months. Each day it shone for about 4 hours, and still this light was only a feeble shadow. Everyone declared that this sun would never recover its full light. The fruits did not ripen, and the wine tasted like sour grapes." This wishy-washy sun situation cast a non-metaphorical dark cloud over the globe that darkened the sky for at least a full year in 536. Researchers later discovered evidence of a massive volcanic eruption whose ash was likely a major contributor to the Seattle-like weather, minus all the rain, spreading ash and destruction on a global scale. Not to mention it made the grapes sour and the wine bad, so that's an easy strike for the year 536.
Oh, shit.
Basic biology teaches us that plants need the sun to aid in their growth and survival.
Yeah.
So not having direct sunlight for the duration of at least a year did a real number on the crop output around the world and sparked a widespread famine around the globe. And it's not just that the plants wanted to catch their rays, it was just too darn chilly for crops to grow. With the sun cloaked in an endless cloud, the temperature of the Earth dropped between 1.6 and 2.5 degrees Celsius, or 34.88 to 36.5 degrees Fahrenheit for all the Americans thinking that doesn't sound so bad. But it also cooled temperatures for decades to come. Crop scarcities were reported far and wide around this time period, including Ireland, who suffered through their own horrible-sounding food depletion they called bread failure.
So, okay, I'm sorry. It's bad. But that year, the sun literally just said, fuck y'all, and just was like, I'm out. I'm just not gonna do it. Imagine if that happened now. Bro, when I tell you, the world would be in mass hysteria right now. People wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, my crops. People would be like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. We're all gonna die right the fuck now. If it happened in one country, everyone would be like, oh shit, that's crazy. Then go back to their daily lives because they're not part of that fucking country. But for the entire world to be like, oh no, you will never see unification like that. You will never see unification on such a level before in your fucking life. You will see both you will see all types of leaders of countries and all sorts of things just working together to be able to clear the sky of whatever the fuck is going on. And or they're each gonna race to clear the sky because countries are fucking competitive. Oh, I'm sorry. That one fact, that one thing that happened the entire year and then some, kind of fucking overtakes a good portion of shit that happened this year. And at the same time, that also carries over to other effects and other shit, considering the technology and the time they had. Okay, let's see what else. Because the famine makes sense. Because no craps, no food, people die. Also, because there's no sun for that, oh my gosh, they must have been freezing. Holy shit. Imagine it being summer, and summer's a good 80. Imagine summer on a regular basis being 50 degrees. For anybody that lives in a state that has normal fucking weather. Let's even say like somewhere like Florida, where at the lowest, maybe like the other day was like what, 45? Like, imagine your normal temperatures being at 40. Now imagine you being somewhere like New York, where New York is known to get temperatures close to zero, if not below zero. So imagine places of that time fucking being at freezing, if not below freezing fucking temperatures. Holy shit. I'm sorry to ramble for this fucking long, but I just gotta say that.
A dusty veil covering the sun wasn't the only bad thing in the air for these poor people just trying to live their lives in 536. There was also a plague or two waiting in the wings to strike on these vitamin D-deprived immune systems.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Nobody
sense.
was immune to this infestation. It swept through the lower classes all the way to the imperial palace. Symptoms, as it was lovingly described, began with a sore that formed on the palm of the hand and progressed until the afflicted one could not take a step.
That's disgusting.
The legs swelled, and the buboes burst and
that's disgusting.
pustulinized. Obviously, if
I
this
wanna
same
show you. I'm probably
plague
gonna
were
blur
to
this.
affect the world
Hopefully I blur
today,
this
there
out.
would
Oh, that's
probably be a TV show called Dr. Bubos, Pussbuster, and with it, a new contender for the worst year to be alive. With the plague beginning to make the rounds in Constantinople, the city began to stink, what with the piles of dead, sick bodies just sort of being tossed around into the sea only to resurface later. There wasn't a lot of burial planning going around back then.
Bring out your dead!
It was more of a wing it vibe around the Justinian plague. Emperor Justinian ordered the bodies to be removed from the city.
I'm not dead! There. He says he's not dead. Yes, he is. I'm not.
But all that did was expose more people to the disease, as healthy people were responsible for moving deceased sickly bodies out of the cities.
Oh my
Things weren't
gosh.
all bad for Emperor Justinian, though, as the plague that took all of these lives and made the city a smelly nightmare would later be named the Plague of Justinian, so that was probably nice for him. Less so for the estimated 50 million people that died from it, however.
What?
Around 536, the climate in China started its journey into madness, doing perfectly normal things like raining dust you could scoop into your hands. Not only should it not rain dust, it certainly shouldn't be measurable by the scoopful. The Nan-Shi, a 6th century chronicle, reported a yellow ash-like substance falling from the sky. They named their freak weather hui, or dust, and said it was yellow in color. Whether this was volcanic ash or just some random, unexplained climate reaction is not known. However, this was just the beginning of China's climate disruption. The chronicles of the southern dynasties reported on a rare summer-winter weather event with frost in the midsummer and snow in August.
See, that's exactly what I was talking about, bro. Also, the shit that I listed at the beginning, all that shit was mostly, at like, minus the COVID shit, just mostly America and like some of the UK. But I haven't mentioned like SARS and like shit that's going on like in other countries. I don't even know what's going on in other countries. See, I'm ignorant. I'm very ignorant. I'm very internationally ignorant. But, yeah, let's just listen to more what he got to say.
Like a Southern California girl in Chicago in January, the crops were not here for this cold snap. Summer crops were destroyed, and the city of Xinzhou, along with others, were thrown into a deadly famine that lasted for 2 years and resulted in the deaths of around 70 to 80% of the population.
Hold the fuck. This year wins. I'm sorry, not this year. That year already fucking. We only halfway through it. That year already fucking wins. That year already went, bro. 50 million people died in one part of the world, and then 70-80% of fucking China gets taken out. Like, holy fuck.
Researchers discovered evidence deep in the ice sheets of Iceland and Greenland that indicated a major volcanic event occurred around 536. Volcanic eruptions in Iceland in 540 and 547 thrust people into the literal Dark Ages, with ash lining the skies and blocking out the shiny hot sun thing in the sky that the people of the 6th century were starting to get used to having around. Based on a tropical volcanic ash later discovered, some scholars have suggested a volcano in El Salvador went blasting off around the year 535 or 536. Still others pointed to a volcanic eruption.
I'm sorry, wait. Wait, why did that rock specifically hit her? That was just unnecessary. That was uncharacteristically accurate for a volcano. I'm sorry,
around the year 535 or 536.
I know it's not funny, but it's just...
Still others pointed...
I know it's not funny, but that's fucking hilarious. The way she... I know it's not funny, but... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry if I seem insensitive, but that shit just looked hilarious.
To a volcanic eruption in North America as a contributor to the dark skies around the world.
Oh my
when combined with the
gosh.
2 Icelandic volcano eruptions, it kicked off what was adorably called the Late Antique Little Ice Age. This cute little ice age cooled off the planet for at least a decade and resulted in the death of crops and subsequently people. Both directly through starvation and indirectly, a malnourished population was more susceptible to diseases, of which there were plenty running around. Well, there's one thing that certainly couldn't claim it had a bad year: exploding volcanoes.
That motherfucker's going off like the Beatles.
I've always loved sci-fi, and the idea of being right on the edge of...
Anyway, let's just continue.
By the time the 6th century rolled around, the Roman Empire had migrated east to Constantinople. And, under the guiding hand of Emperor Justinian, the Romans sought to get back to the glory days of the empire. Much like a high school graduate who still hangs around campus and wears their Letterman jacket.
Yeah, it's fucking
I mean,
weirdo.
it is pretty cool. Though some of Justinian's generals saw success in this cool goal, most notable Belisarius, who fought against several different armies including Goths, Vandals, and others, Justinian himself couldn't mirror the success due to constant uprisings and imperial instability. Those pesky uprisings always getting in the way of success. To add sickness to war defeats, the Byzantine Empire would never fully recover from the disease and famine sparked by the events of 536. The Byzantine Empire lost between 35 to 55% of their population in the year 541, once the bubonic plague moved in and did what the plague did best: kill depressingly high percentages of entire populations. Historians believe the plague could have been transported by plague-infested rats hitching a ride on military trains during this attempt to bring the Roman Empire back to its peak, which clearly backfired.
That's how it always is. It's always a rat.
The horribleness of 536 didn't discriminate. The Moche civilization of Peru wouldn't count 536 as their banner year either. The Moche civilization, a once dominant force in the region, were known to be avid fishermen and developers of an advanced irrigation system that allowed a variety of crops to grow.
Oh no.
Their agricultural talents were the backbone of their economy, but the weather conditions in the 6th century caused their pocketbooks to take a deep hit. It was around this time that an unusually strong El Niño weather system caused waters to warm, which decimated the fish supply. The freak weather system also caused heavy flooding, which ruined their irrigation systems and devastated their ability to grow enough food to feed their people.
So you mean to tell me in this same fucking year, you seen the weather of the fucking temperature of Earth drop by 30 degrees, but the water in South America heated the fuck up and killed all the fish and then flooded them? What the fuck? What?
People, probably tired of listening to Twitter users claim X and X was the worst year ever, a group of scholars set out to set the record straight once and for all. Harvard historian Michael McCormick and a group of scholars decided to science their way out of the age-old question, what was the worst year to be alive? Initially, however, this was not the ultimate goal of McCormick and his group of 12 interdisciplinary scholars. The group came together to study metal usage, coinage, and changes to the 7th century monetary systems. Somewhere in this thrilling subject matter, one probably began to ponder if they were living in the worst year to be alive. Their findings included an analysis of volcanic fragments from an Icelandic volcano in ice core samples from Swiss glaciers that, yes, dated back to 536, confirming the volcanic event that thrusted a good portion of the northern hemisphere into unprecedented darkness, setting off a global catastrophe. Yeah, but in 1998, both Armageddon and Deep Impact were released, and people had to choose between which two asteroid-based action movies they liked best. That's a tough year. The planet left behind plenty of evidence of climate trauma that resulted in a chain of climate events that spiraled over into real human suffering. Remember, we only get one Earth, everyone. Please recycle. Dendrochronologists, people who study tree rings to determine a tree's age, since that's a science and not a wild guess, noticed some disturbing patterns emerging when examining Icelandic trees. The rings indicated a period when the tree's growth had slowed, suggesting a significant cool-down had occurred around the middle of the 6th century. This, combined with the newly unearthed ice core evidence discovered in 2018, helped date the time of the catastrophic event that ruined Earth for a little bit, to the year 536.
I think it's 536 already won, but
in researching for the worst year to be alive, things weren't always so bleak. In fact, the research started by our friends at Harvard ended on a positive note. While the events of 536 were the spark for some truly literal dark days in our planet's history, the researchers were also able to find the moments things really started to turn around. When researching coinage, they noticed the reappearance of lead in the ice core samples, indicating that people were producing silver again for money. Ah, capitalism, the life force of us all.
Yeah.
Experts argued the prevalence of silver meant more coins were being produced, which was a sign of a thriving economy. The lesson being, as bad as it may seem, it will almost always get better. Almost always.
Almost, yeah.
So what do you think? Would you like to go into a time machine and play the ultimate game of Survivor? Let us know.
Fuck you. Fuck
in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.
Fuck no. Fuck you. And what I want to try to play Survivor. No, fuck that. No. Weird history. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. This video is this was made March 11th. Just when the fucking plague, right when the virus happened. Right when it happened. That is surprisingly recent. Not recent, but that is a very a very interesting time for that shit to start happening. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know about y'all, but 536 is obviously a fucking worse year than 2020. Even though 2020 is a horrible fucking year. This year will go down in history books, no doubt. It should. But, god damn it. Wow. How does the world both cool and the water both heat up at the same time? I get it's because of hurricane. I mean, I get like hurricanes and shit, but like hurricanes like really form off of warm water. How did the water heat up to A, kill the fish, and then for it to flood them, while at the same time in the northern hemisphere, a little bit north, a little bit right, a little bit north, a little bit east, we find these niggas just like fucking famine, just having the whole world in goddamn darkness. Like, what type of shit is this? And then every single volcano, I'm just like, yo, you going? You going? Alright, cool. We all going, bet. On 3. 1, 2, 3. These niggas was more coordinated than fucking New Edition. God damn. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, I just pray that we get through this year and we get through the subsequent years safely and with everything intact, okay? With hopefully this virus gone by next year. I'm praying. I'm being very optimistic. I know, but I'm being just something. Just something. I just need that ray of sunshine. Pun unintended. Pun unfucking intended. But in any case, this has been Two Eyes. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all are grateful that we're not living in 536. But I just hope that all my best wishes go out to anybody who's lost anybody during this time. I know this got very sad very quickly. I'm sorry about that, but my condolences. My condolences to all of those who've lost somebody. But also, I want you to I want you to think about and be appreciative of the fact that you're still here and the fact that you're still able to be and exist and still being able to, hopefully be healthy. And even if you have, even if you do have it, you'll be able to beat it. Like, I'm sorry this got real sad very quickly. And I don't know if the music's gonna match the tone that this shit just took. But in any case, I hope it doesn't, so that way it keeps it upbeat and it kind of throws it off. But yeah, in any case, this has been Two Eyes. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Go watch and go to the channel. Watch some more history shit, because history is very fucking intriguing, and it's weird how shit comes back around. I was maybe thinking in my head, sometimes okay. But yeah, this has been Two Eyes. Like, comment, subscribe again, please. It helps. I need to know what I'm doing right, what y'all like, what y'all don't like, shit like that. But in any case, this has been Two Eyes, and I'ma see y'all later.